It's 95 degrees.
The first thing that popped into my mind when I saw this was, is she African? Go to Instagram and lo and behold, if you've seen one whitewashed first generation African woman, you have seen them all. If you have seen one whitewashed first generation African woman, you have seen them all. After reading all that, you don't date black men. I know you don't date black men. Actually, let me be fair, there is a few presets of whitewashed first generation African women. One that y'all just saw, that is the most regular looking one. She's either gonna have braids that's cooked all the time, or it's gonna be wigs galore. Wigs galore. If she has black friends, they will be like-minded black friends. But she will never have a black love interest. Ever. Ever. The next preset is a shorty that will just look fake. Her skin will be really good. She will have perfect teeth. Even though her teeth are perfect, she'll have a smile that will say, I do not mess with black people. If you know, you know. I'm not finna explain it. No braids, straight wigs. We'll never be outside wearing that hair. Wig might be cooked sometimes though. Will heavily associate with dairy demons and will worship the ground that they walk on because she learned it from her parents that that's how you survive in this country. And there's this one preset where shorty will just be chips, like she'll be clapped. However, she will have a natural hair out. Going to be extremely rude, extremely disrespectful, probably heavyset. Will use every fiber of her being to praise dairy demons. Even though I'm speaking from my experiences, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Chile. So this African girl posted talking about she rejected a Nigerian guy who's an engineer and 6'5", and instead she chose a white guy who's 5'9", abusive, and had no life plans and only took her to the cookout. Now, first of all, white people don't have cookouts, girl. I don't know where that white man brought you, but it was not to a cookout. Cookouts are a black American thing. That white man might have brought you to the lynching party to show them what was to come or something because, girl, I don't know where he had you at, but again, it was not a cookout, okay? Now, an African guy replied to her, and he started going into the anti-black dating preferences that a lot of African women have. And honestly, I'm going to speak on this as a black American because y'all be trying to pass this stuff off onto black Americans and pretend that black Americans are the only self-hating ones and yada, 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 and so and so and so. But I'm glad you guys are calling each other out because y'all swear that Flower Tower be on here lying, but I don't be. Now, y'all already know I recently moved into a new apartment, so I'm still in the process of unpacking. So there's a bunch of boxes and stuff in the background, okay? Look, it is what it is, right? But let's get into this. You will notice that black people who date interracially or even interethnically, and I'm going to get into that in a second, right? They will have all of these requirements of their own people that they won't have of other people, right? So let me speak on black Americans first, right? When it comes to black Americans, black American guys are mostly the ones dating interracially. It's not really the women, okay? And you'll notice that black American guys will say, oh, I don't like black women because they're ghetto, they're this, they're that, so and so and so, right? But then they turn right around and they date white women who are all of those things. They would date the crunchiest, most hood, ratchet, nasty-ass white woman ever, right? But then be the same dudes who said, oh, no, that's the reason I don't date black women. So it's like, clearly you don't actually have an issue with those things. You just have an issue with blackness. And you was trying to use this other stuff as a scapegoat, right? This is something I noticed because this African girl who made this post, do you think that she would have dated an African guy who was 5'9", who didn't have any career ambitions, who was a bum, who only took her to the cookout and blah, 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 right? Do you think she would have dated an African guy who was coming with that set of attributes? I really doubt it, right? But she was cool dating a white guy who only had that to offer. She literally rejected an African guy who was 6'5", a civil engineer, so and so and so, for a white guy who had absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I bet you, now I don't know this woman, I've never spoken to this woman, but I bet you if you have a conversation with her, she will sit there and she'll say she has all these dating requirements. Oh, my man needs to be this tall, he has to make this much money, have this career, so and so and so, right? But she was cool with dating a white guy who had absolutely none of that, and she chose him over an African guy who had all of that, right? Because again, these dating requirements just be a scapegoat that y'all be using to cover up the fact that y'all are anti-black, or in this woman's case, anti-African, or whatever, right? And let me tell y'all another example of this, right? So I used to date a Kenyan guy. He was from Kenya. He was not Kenyan American, no. He was born and raised in Kenya. He moved to the U.S. when he was like 20 or something, right? So one day we sitting there and he randomly came out of nowhere. I don't know where this came from because prior to this, we had never spoken about Kenyan women. I kid you not. We had never had a conversation about Kenyan women, right? So he came out of nowhere And he said, yeah, I don't really like Kenyan women. I don't date Kenyan women, right? So I was like, what? Because he was Kenyan, right? I'm like, why would you say that? Because that doesn't make any sense. You're a Kenyan man. Why would you not like Kenyan women? Like, what? I thought this was very odd because this is my honest to God belief. And this is coming from a black woman who dates black men of any background, right? So as long as a man is black, I will date him, okay? I really believe that people are more compatible with people of the same background. Like, I'm more compatible with black American men. A Kenyan man is going to be more compatible with a Kenyan woman, etc., etc., etc. Now, that's not to say y'all can't like each other and love each other and still date and still get married or whatever, right? But the reality is nobody is going to understand you like a person of your background. That's just the honest to God truth, right? So I think it's very weird when somebody says something negative about the opposite gender that is of the same background as them, right? Whether it's a black American man saying something negative about black American women, or in this case, a Kenyan man saying something negative about Kenyan women. It does not fucking make sense, right? So he said that, and I was like, what? Like, why would you say that, right? So then he said, yeah, I don't like Kenyan women because they're lazy and gold diggers. And I was like, I'm lazy and a gold digger. Like, what are you saying, right? I was confused because, mind you, when we started dating, I never had to ask him to pay for anything. He paid for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was never a question. He just took it upon himself to do that, right? So I was confused because I'm like, you don't have any issue with me expecting you to pay for everything. But if I was a Kenyan woman, you would be calling me lazy and a gold digger? Like, what? This goes back to my point. And like I said, this is for people who date interracially and interethnically, okay? Because me and that man were both black, but we were of different ethnicities, right? My point is, y'all will sit there and pretend you're against something. Like he said, he doesn't like Kenyan women because they're allegedly lazy and gold diggers, right? But you would absolutely accept someone of a different background as you if they are those things. I am the laziest, most gold digging bitch in the world. I will tell y'all that right now. If I get married to a rich man, yo, that would just make my life complete. I'd never have to work again. Oh, God, that would make me so fucking happy. I'm the laziest, most gold-digging bitch in the world, okay? Look, okay? So the fact that he said, oh, yeah, I don't like Kenyan women because they're lazy and gold-diggers, but he dated me? Come on now, that makes no fucking sense, right? But that gets back to my point. I bet you this African woman in this video had all this list of requirements. Like I said, oh, yeah, you know, like, yeah, if an African man want to date me, he got to be this tall and he got to have this job, so and so and so, right? But she was cool throwing all that in the trash for a white guy. Same way the Kenyan guy I dated was cool throwing all that in the trash for a non-Kenyan woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all be trying to use these dating preferences as a cover-up for the fact that you are self-hating. You are self-hating. Your issue with the opposite gender of your community is simply the fact that you hate yourself, so you can't help but hate them too. And it's easier to just throw all your hatred onto them instead of, you know, hating yourself straight up, right? It's more hurtful when you just hate yourself, right? It's easier to just hate the others in your community and push it all onto them. Now, let's get back to the fact that this woman is African. And I'm pointing that out because I really do feel like a lot of times Africans use black Americans as the scapegoat. Because y'all have a lot of issues in y'all community, but y'all will lie so fucking quick. Y'all will be like, oh, no, we Africans. We only date other Africans. Y'all African Americans. Y'all the ones dating interracially and so and so. So that shit is a lie. Now, granted, you know, in Africa, it's mostly Africans. So y'all ain't really got no choice. But as soon as y'all come across a singular non-black person, y'all be the first ones chasing after him. And honestly, the guy who responded to the woman who made this video, he brought up a good point. He was talking about the different types of anti-black Africans, right? Or anti-African women, okay? And he was like, oh yeah, this type does this type does that. And he mentioned one type. He said, yeah, they worship whiteness because their parents told them that is the only way to get ahead in this country. Yo, so he said that when Africans move to whatever country, because he sound like he got an accent. He don't sound like he American, right? Their parents tell them the only way to get ahead is to worship white people. That's, yo, have I not been saying this as a black American? I have been saying, like, I feel like when Africans come here, they basically be acting like white people. They, like, literally, when you come across Africans, most of them didn't go to like black neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Most of them wasn't moving to Detroit and stuff. They be living out in like Madison Heights and going to school with a bunch of white people and all of this stuff, right? Like, I swear to God, Africans in this country, they basically be white people painted black. So hearing this African guy say that these Africans come here and they tell their kids, yeah, the only way to get ahead here is to assimilate into whiteness. it's like confirming something that I already thought, because I swear I could tell off of how y'all acted. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. But y'all know what I'm glad about? Y'all wanna know what I'm glad about? I'm glad about the fact that Africans are now more likely to admit that they are African, and Caribbeans too, because this is my thing, y'all. This is my thing. Growing up, Africans and Caribbeans who were born and raised in the USA, they didn't rep being African or Caribbean, right? They would pretend they was Black Americans. And in fact, y'all, I'm about to tell y'all the craziest story ever. Oh my God, I was about to wrap this up, but y'all. So I used to be in this Facebook group online, okay? And I would say most of the people in the group were Black. And I think most of the Black people were Black American. But years later, it came out some of them were not, okay? And let me tell y'all the craziest story ever. And y'all gonna think I'm lying. One day, I gotta do a video with some people I still talk to from this group, because y'all, there was this girl, we gonna call her Ashley, okay? She did too fucking much. She always did too fucking much. Like, I told her one time, Ashley, somebody need to just beat the fuck out of you. Because it's one thing to be on the internet, you know, trolling and shit. But this bitch did too fucking much. Like, okay, Ashley was always bullying this one dude. We're gonna call him Brian, okay? So Ashley will be dragging the fuck out of Brian. And like I said, Ashley did too fucking much. Like, she added his mama to the group and was going off of his mama, acting a fucking fool. I was like, Ashley, somebody need to beat you down. Like, what the fuck, right? But anyway, what is like etched in my mind, right? Ashley used to be dragging Brian because he was Haitian. So she'd be like, you black ass, crispy ass Haitian, so and so and so, yada, 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 right? And I was always confused because I was like, Ashley, you the same fucking color as him. So you cracking all these fucking jokes about how he black as fucking shit, but bitch, you the same fucking color as him. Like, what are you saying, right? That shit made no fucking sense, right? But you know what should have like been a light bulb moment to me is how the hell she even knew what a Haitian was. Like, because at that time in my life, nobody really knew anything about, like, Black Americans. We didn't know anything about other groups of Black people. Like, that was before anybody really talked about that or anything. So growing up, we came across Black people and we just thought everybody was Black, right? So when she was dragging him about being a black, crispy Haitian, so and so and so, I should have immediately been like, how you even know what the fuck a Haitian is? Because what? Now, I bet you to this day, Brian is probably somewhere talking about how growing up, Black Americans bullied him for being Haitian, right? But would you fucking believe? I was talking to this one girl who I still talk to from this group, right? Mind you, this is like 12, 13 years later, right? And she just said briefly in passing, she said, oh yeah, Ashley is Haitian. And I said, wait a second, what? I said, Ashley is Haitian? The one who was always dragging the fuck out of Brian because he was Haitian. That bitch was Haitian? And she was like, yeah, she said, you know, years later, she's actually Haitian as well, so and so and so. And I'm bringing this up because people like Ashley, who were fucking African and Caribbean, right? In this case, Ashley was Haitian, right? They would bully the fuck out of other Africans and Caribbeans while they pretended to be Black American. For years, this bitch Ashley pretended to be a fucking Black American. Come to find out, this bitch is Haitian. That was the craziest fucking plot twist I have ever encountered, bro. So I'm saying this because years ago, the African woman who made this video, she wouldn't have had that flag in her bio. She would have been pretending to be a Black American, and y'all would have been sitting around talking about, oh, Black American women is white worshiping and so and so and so and yada, yada, yada. For a long time, these people have kind of like flown under the radar pretending to be us so that all of their raggedy shit just gets lumped under Black Americans. So I'm very glad that they are now acknowledging that they are not Black American and people can hold them and their communities accountable for real.